One of the big fears as a store owner, and probably one of the main reasons why a lot of people choose not to open card stores, is theft. And I'm not talking about the occasional single that gets slipped into a pocket and walks out of the store. I'm talking about real theft, burglary, breaking into your store in the middle of the night with a mask and a hood on and stealing your singles and your graded cards out of your cases. Unfortunately, that's what's happened to 3 different card stores in the Raleigh area. 2 weeks ago, a store called Crunch Time Sports was broken into and all of their Pokemon stuff was stolen. Last week, a store that I've been to multiple times, Hidden Block Games, was broken into and a lot of their Pokemon high-end singles were stolen. And now just today, I was notified of another store called New World Toys that was broken into and their Pokemon cards were stolen. That's 3 different stores in less than 3 weeks in the area that have been burglarized by who knows if it's the same group, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was. It really sucks because on top of it just being a horrifically disgusting thing to do to another individual or a small business, these are small family-owned businesses just like mine. These are people's livelihoods that you're potentially destroying doing this heinous act. Now, this does pose a bit of a complication, a bit of an issue for me, another local card store in the area that happens to be surrounded by other card stores that are getting hit by a group of people or an individual who are breaking through their glass fronts, breaking through their glass fronted doors with rocks and going in and stealing high value singles from them. So what does someone like me do in this situation? How do I decrease the potential likelihood of people breaking into my store? I already have security cameras. I literally have a bank vault for all my inventory. But not only do I feel like I have somewhat of an obligation to myself to keep myself safe, but it's also not my building. It's my landlord's space. And I don't want the window to be broken into. I don't want the door to be shattered. Those are things that obviously I would have to fix, but I don't want him to deal with that either. I don't want my business to bring on extra trouble for other people. That was one of the reasons why I never carried anything really expensive up at the local bookstore that I used to have my Pokemon cards in for those few years. I never kept anything too expensive up there because I didn't want this to happen. I don't want that store to get broken into because of my existence there. It was just would make me feel like shit. So this morning I called the local police station. I talked to an officer. I let them know about what was happening, what's in the area. I let them know that my store is very similar to these other stores that have been broken into. They gave me some tips on how to maybe prevent something like this from happening. They told me different ways that I could prepare better for something like this if there was to be a break-in and if I was going to need to help them find these people. And I was also put on a list of businesses that would be patrolled more often during my closed hours. So during the overnight period when I'm not open, in theory, there should be more patrol cars driving past the building in which my store is located. Now, a lot of the people that watch this video are local, so a lot of you guys know the location of my store. My store is a block away from the police department. It's literally 1 block. You can probably see the police department from the actual store's door. I also have on-duty and off-duty officers that come in and out buying packs and just checking up on the place constantly. And because the store is so close to the police station, it's probably the most patrolled area in Wake Forest. But criminals and thieves are stupid. They wouldn't be stealing from businesses if they weren't stupid. So all of these things don't necessarily mean that I am safer from a break-in. I just want to say that I feel really bad for these businesses that have been broken into. Hidden Block Games, New World Toys, Crunch Time Sports. Nobody deserves this. Pokemon is just supposed to be a fun hobby. We're all just a bunch of nerds that want to hang out with like-minded people and have a good time. I know the market is crazy, and when the market's crazy, it brings on all of this. It brings on violence in stores. It brings on stores getting broken into. This is just disgusting behavior, and it's not what any of this is supposed to be about. So if you guys are local, definitely support these stores. Head over to New World Toys. Head over to Hidden Block Games this weekend. Go to Crunch Time Sports. Check out their Pokemon selection and support these stores because they need it now more than ever. And we need to show that the Pokemon community is more than this shit. So go help those guys out if you have the time this weekend. Go see what they got available and spend a little bit of money. The officer I spoke to recommended I do a couple more things to keep my store safe, so we're going to implement those. All you can do is your best, and hopefully that's enough, and hopefully these guys get caught soon.